What up, Screen Fiends? I'm GB, and you're tuned in to Headz TV, where we like to discuss all the wonderful things appearing on your movie and your TV screens. In this episode, I wanted to have a little discussion, give you my thoughts on the Suicide Squad, and ultimately why it didn't work, why it wasn't really that great or even very good of a movie, and maybe what they could have done differently in their in the movie. Okay, so this is basically another one of my why the DCEU is failing videos. The reason why I make these videos is because I love DC's characters. I want them to work on screen. I want to see great representations of these characters in live action. Akin to Marvel. I love Marvel stuff. I love what they've been doing. I wish DC was not doing the same thing. I like that they wanted to go in a darker, grittier route. I like that they wanted to go maybe a little more realistic. Not really. Marvel kind of went realistic too, with most of their stuff being science-based. But you get what I'm saying. They were trying to go for a little bit more adult. They just they didn't do it right. So let's just talk about Suicide Squad. I've done videos on Batman vs. Superman and Man of Steel. Go check those out if you like. Okay, now, Suicide Squad was basically DC's answer to Guardians of the Galaxy. In everything from the way the movie was put together to the type of movie it is, the characters and whatnot. And even the marketing was very, very similar to Guardians. So, which is fine. That's what movies and books and every piece of art is based on. Inspiration, homage, biting off of something, if you want to call it that. That's what art is. And cinema is art. So it's okay to borrow ideas or have another film be your inspiration. Copying it directly is not a good thing. Now, Suicide Squad did not copy directly, and the problem with it is the stuff that they didn't copy was the stuff that they probably should have copied. And the stuff that they kind of did copy in a way probably shouldn't even been in the movie altogether, because let's not forget, Guardians of the Galaxy are cosmic heroes in outer space dealing with things that appear to be magic. Suicide Squad are Earth-based criminals, some with superpowers, some not at all with any super. Most of them don't really have superpowers. The ones in the movie anyway. And they should have been dealing with a more grounded villain, not the Enchantress. There's no reason why the Enchantress should have been the villain of that movie other than to give us disposable minion who aren't humans that can give us a PG-13 rating when we kill them. In those black creatures, you know. David Ayer is a good director to me. I like a lot of his movies. They're not all the best movies in the world, but they're all solid movies, meaning they all can be rewatched. Every David Ayer movie I've seen, I'm pretty sure I've seen them all, deserve a rewatch. That's, even the ones that aren't the best in the world, to me, they're decent movies. They're good enough to rewatch. Better than decent, I should say. So I was excited for him to come on board. Will Smith, I love most of his work. He usually makes great choices. Margot Robbie, I've loved her in everything I've seen her in. Not only because she's gorgeous, but she's an absolutely great and talented actress. And the Joker, Jared Leto's Joker, intrigued me. The way he looked a little different than the most interpretations of the Joker. So I was intrigued going in. I really wanted to see it. Even though I wasn't happy with Batman vs. Superman, I still had hope because I liked Man of Steel. So at this point, it was really only one big misstep, one small minor misstep in some of the things of Man of Steel, and a huge misstep in Batman vs. Superman. So I was still hyped. I was still ready to go. And everything surrounding the movie was getting me excited. I try to stay away from promotional material. I watch like usually 1-2 trailers, I try not to watch beyond that because then I end up getting spoiled and it takes away from the enjoyment of the theatrical experience for me. So I do my best to stay away from that stuff as much as I can. So I was excited going in. And when the movie started, it started pretty good. It was a little scatterbrainy in the way they introduced the characters. But I liked most of the character introductions. If you did not know who these characters were, I knew most of them going in. If you did not know who these characters were, it gave you a good idea of who they are, where they come from, and even which superheroes they were villains to. In most cases, anyway. And started off getting me really excited. It got me more excited in the beginning than Batman vs. Superman did. Batman vs. Superman, the first scene, amazing, and then it progressively got worse. I would say Suicide Squad, I liked the first 20 minutes, half hour of the movie. I was really enjoying it. It made me laugh. I thought the characters were cool. For the most part, they were represented well, and I couldn't wait to see the next hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes, whatever it was, hour and 15 of the movie. After the first 20 to a half an hour, I'm saying. And then the movie just got progressively worse and worse, where every character was underused. Even the two main characters of Harley and Deadshot, even though they were the best things about the movie by far, they were underused. They didn't feel fleshed out enough. I didn't have a connection with these characters by the end of the movie. Probably more, them two than anyone else. But think of Guardians again. You focused on the whole group. By the end of Guardians of the Galaxy, you know who each character is, what their arc pretty much was throughout, because everyone kind of has their own arc in Guardians. Not even kind of. Everybody does have their own arc in Guardians. And it may not be a total, complete, satisfying arc for most fans, but they're still full story arcs. Whereas in Suicide Squad, the only people that got any story arcs, and they weren't really even complete or done very well, the story arcs, were Harley and Deadshot. There should have been more focus on people like Killer Croc instead of having one or two throwaway lines. And nobody had any cool action except for Harley and Deadshot. It was Harley and Deadshot show. It wasn't the Suicide Squad. And I think part of that goes into having too much focus on a shitty villain and then shoehorning Joker in, but then pulling back on him. If you were going to put him in the movie, you should have went all out. The Joker should have been the villain of that movie. Could he have gotten together his own Suicide Squad? Yeah. A perfect scenario for that movie is the first part of it. Joker is still incarcerated, manipulating Waller, and kind of gives her the idea to put together bad people so that he could get Harley free to break him out. And that's what happens in the first act of the movie. And then you have him out there putting together his own Suicide Squad or something like that. Or even just coming with his henchmen. And you save that for Suicide Squad 2 when the Joker makes his own Suicide Squad to go against them. Something like that. Would have been way better to fight grounded, more realistic, more akin to them villains. The Enchantress was whack. She was done garbage. Even if she wasn't done garbage, she's not the right villain for Suicide Squad, at least not the first movie when we're being introduced to these characters and everything. And then everybody else, Rick Flag, it was like they were trying to make him kind of a main character, but it didn't work. I go back to Guardians again. You know who Quill is. You make an opinion whether you like him or not by the end of the movie because you know who he is and what he does. He's a fleshed out character. All of them are. Even though you don't know Rocket and Groot's backstory and you just get touches of it, you know who these characters are because of their behavior, their dialogue, and the way they're integrated into the story. Suicide Squad did none of that. The action was so underwhelming in that movie. Like I said, Deadshot had some cool stuff. Harley had some cool stuff. Joker had a few cool things in the 10 minutes he was in the movie. I would have really liked to see more. I liked what I saw. It was different. And I would have liked to have seen more to judge it. But the point is besides Harley, besides Deadshot, everybody else felt like they were thrown into the movie. They were just forced into the movie to have somebody else for the characters to talk to, and that's especially for Batman. If they were going to put him in, they should actually put him into a thread of the story and not just in one whack flashback that really didn't make any sense whatsoever. And I hated the way they handled the Harley Joker into the acid thing. To me, they handled it trash. The stuff where he was shocking her and all that, you know, that was cool. But, I don't know, man. Too much studio interference, in my opinion. If they would have let David Ayer make the movie David Ayer wanted to make, and if he didn't feel compelled to change his original choices, because I've heard him say he originally wanted to go with Joker as the main villain, and he regretted changing that. He says he changed it. I think someone else forced him into changing it. My opinion. Suicide Squad should have been done hard PG-13 or rated R, and it didn't come across that way. It just wasn't done very well, from the action to the way the characters were integrated in the movie. The longer the movie went on, the worse it got. That's never a good sign, because you don't want to come back and rewatch it. And I had to rewatch it because I wanted to make this video and be as honest as I can. The first half hour, I liked it, even on the rewatch, even though I knew what was coming. The rest of it just fell apart. I really wish they'd done more with those characters, because the characters were good representations, the little bit we got of them, and I liked them, and I was excited to see them in the beginning, and then as it went on, it was just like, that's all we get with Killer Croc, like that's all he's gonna do or say, and that's all we get with Captain Boomerang. They hyped him up like he was going to be a huge comic relief for the movie, and he was very funny, but for only a little bit. And I liked Amanda Waller. That's the four things I liked. I liked the Joker. But he wasn't in it enough. Wanted to see more. I liked Harley's representation, even though she should have had the Brooklyn accent. We know Margot Robbie can do the Brooklyn accent, but not a big deal for me. For the most part, I liked how Harley and how she was portrayed. And Deadshot, I liked how he was like the tortured bad guy. Will Smith, usually nails it, even when he's not given good material. And I liked Amanda Waller. I thought she was a good bad guy, because she really is one of the villains of the film. But as a whole film, not good to me. They really should have went more with a more earthbound villain. The action should have definitely been way better than it was. I mean, Batman vs. Superman, if anything, at least the action scenes were entertaining for the most part, the Doomsday stuff aside. But that's it. Suicide Squad, didn't like it, just like I didn't like Batman vs. Superman. These are the two movies that, and the mishaps with Man of Steel, have just soured me towards the DCEU, and this is why I feel like they're failing. They went too hard, too fast to compete with Marvel, instead of fleshing out a nice plan and working with what they had with their dark and gritty and more adult-themed superhero movies. It really, really could have worked, but they just didn't handle it right. I'm still for a reboot. Maybe Wonder Woman will change my mind. What I'm seeing, some of it I like, some of it not. I'm going to do another video about what DC could do to save this without rebooting. I've already done one, what they could do to reboot, and then I think they should reboot. But I got a few ideas on how they could possibly save it without having to reboot what they've already done. Alright, that's it for this video. You got anything to say? Shout out down below. Likes, dislikes, good, the bad, the ugly. I want to hear it all. And don't forget to like, share, fave, all that good stuff. Subscribe. And yeah, that's it. All right. I will see you next time. You guys have a good day.